Kids, good evening. Today's topic is going to be the Oklahoma tornadoes. Now, first of all, my heart goes out to all those people affected and friends and family and neighborhoods and etc. that were affected by the terrible tornadoes in Oklahoma. However, this is not the first time Oklahoma's had a tornado. It's not the first tornado in the United States that's killed people. It happens every single year. So we can't all be that shocked, seriously, about this. Tornadoes have hit schools, tornadoes have killed children, animals, adults, everything. Nothing new here, just the size and scope of this particular tornado seems to be a little bit larger than the normal average tornado. And I'll give them that. Now, here's where the controversy comes in. And this is where I have this issue, and I want to bring this up because this goes to the heart of why America is falling apart as a nation. A lot of people remember Superstorm Sandy last year. And a lot of people remember people like Tom Colburn and others from Oklahoma, Republicans, that demanded fiscal restraint and no funding for Superstorm Sandy victims. And all these Republicans standing behind it and bottled it up for about 90 days. It made these people wait for federal funding, which was absolutely absurd and appalling. And they were freezing to death. Unlike the people of Oklahoma who were not freezing to death, it's now approaching summertime, a totally different situation. So when these people from Oklahoma call screaming for, oh my God, help us, save us, send us money. Send us this, send us that, we need everything. I want them to think long and hard about who they hire or who they elect and send to Washington, D.C. and how they treat those other people around the country. I happen to live in Florida. One of my senators voted yes for funding for Superstorm Sandy, and the other one voted no. Marco Rubio voted no. How can a Floridian vote no on federal help for disasters when Florida is another state which is constantly in a state of disaster? Florida is just one big disaster that should be sawed off and floated away. I live here, I know that. And I was aghast at my own Senator Marco Rubio voting no for funding for Hurricane Sandy. Really? But the same thing with these Republicans in Oklahoma. Now it's affecting Oklahoma. You think they're going to not say, oh, please help us, we need emergency financing? Certainly they will. Absolutely. Now, I've been going through hurricanes in Florida since Hurricane Andrew, that Category 5 that ripped through South Miami. And I lived in Miami at the time. Horrible storm. But I also remember Wilma that ripped the roof off my house. I remember being 2 months without electricity. Almost 2.5 months without electricity. After all the money I've spent in taxes and insurance and all that kind of stuff, I got a crappy settlement from my insurance company, which was owned by the state of Florida. And I got totally screwed by them. In addition, there was no outpouring of love and support for Hurricane Wilma because it didn't do that much devastation in Florida. Frankly, it screwed up Cancun a lot worse. And the Mexican government stood in and rebuilt Cancun in a year. We're still rebuilding New Orleans after Katrina. That's how pathetic the United States is. That's how pathetic the United States is. Mexico gets things done faster than we do. By a decade. Mexico. Hello. Have a nice day. So, that's that part of it. So I remember living without a roof. I remember living without electricity. Do you know what I got from the federal government and the Red Cross and all these lovely organizations people pour out all these billions of dollars to? I got one case of MREs and 5 bags of ice total for all the taxes I paid over a lifetime. That's what I got from the federal government. A case of MREs and 5 bags of ice. Meanwhile, I had to suffer without electricity for 2.5 months in Florida, which is not, I mean, living in Florida with air conditioning is not even easy because it's such a piece of shit state. But imagine living without it. Amazing. Ridiculous. So, going on. Now, this is going to be delicious too. I want to talk about this so much. I used to be a truck driver, and I used to traverse the state of Oklahoma often. And several times I would have to stop in Oklahoma either to pick up, deliver, or, switch drivers or whatever in Oklahoma at truck stops. And I can remember being accosted on several occasions by what you would call Bible thumpers. And I remember Oklahoma being particularly fertile with Bible thumpers. Now, that should go over really well for these victims that they're going to be burying in Oklahoma if Westboro Baptist Church shows up with all their hate signs and God hates faggots while someone's trying to bury their little child that drowned or got crushed at school during a tornado, particularly if they're a Bible thumper. So it could turn into a cage match. It could be interesting. Should be fun to watch. Sadly, though, the fact that these people, all of them, Westboro and the Bible thumpers, would call themselves Christian escapes me. So sorry if I'm starting to sound a little bit less than sympathetic, but actually, I am. Because if God really loved you so much, why would he come and kill all of you and destroy your town? Now, why don't we ask Pat Robertson? Because he always has a good answer for these things. I'm sure he's going to say that the wrath of Jesus came down because 5 new states ratified homosexual marriage, or some bullshit like that. And that's why they killed, that God smited little children in their elementary school today via tornado because of gay marriage in other states. You see what I'm going with this? I really don't have a lot of sympathy. Living through natural disasters and having to take care of myself, I learned how to take care of myself because leaning on anybody else is an absolute waste of time. Particularly the federal government, your state government, or anybody else. They don't do anything for you. At least they never have for me. Not a damn thing. Except for 1 case of MREs and 5 bags of ice, which over my lifetime probably cost me close to $750,000 taxes. Just saying. Have a good day.